guys, welcome back. So today we got a 2023 GV80 2.5. As you can see there, we got multiple warning lights. And it's kind of annoying of that beeping sound. Let me just turn it off and then let's talk about what's going on with this vehicle. So as you can see there, it's 246 kilometers. Before we did the delivery, we did a pre-delivery inspection. It passed on our inspection, and once we done everything and it's ready for shipment or for delivery, they told me that there was a warning light, but when we cleared the code, all was good, and after a week it came back to us with the same codes. Right now we have a code for a transmission control module lost communication, so I'm just gonna quickly scan this. I did already yesterday that for the full system scan, and also I did my pre-checks already yesterday, and I found that one of the pin, even though it's not designated with anything, it was jammed to our power pin on our module. So I thought that was the problem. So I fixed that pin and put everything back together, and it's the same thing. What I did yesterday, because it was end of the day, I just checked quickly power and ground. I used my test light. It was good. We're gonna use a different test light. We'll see if it carries a good amount of current for that wire, right? And then we're gonna do our communication check for our data going to the computer. So we'll check first our codes. I'll show you what's going on. The other modules are telling on this scanner that he cannot communicate to the transmission control module. That's COM, right? Or can time out to TCM. So on our engine side, it say lost communication with TCM, and when we scan our transmission, it says failed, because obviously he cannot communicate. And our electric shifter, it says good, but we get some can timeout. As you can see there, he cannot communicate with transmission. So we're gonna go to our wiring diagram and show you guys on what our test will be. What I'm thinking is if everything is good before I'm calling the transmission control module, we're gonna check all those important stuff. The what do you call that? The transmission, power, ground, and communication. And maybe we can try also removing our negative cable. Do a capacitive reset, meaning removing the negative cable and removing the positive cable and short them together, right? Wait for 5-10 minutes, 20, and we'll see. But let's go to our wiring diagram and let's check our testing points. Okay, so here's our wiring diagram. As you can see here, we got two fuses, TCU1, TCU2. Last night both fuses were good. Pin 67, 68, and 16, they were all lighting up our test light. We got our ground here, pin 71, 73, 74, which is good too. And now for our communication, we got our power can data and a CCP can. So it's just two different communication lines, but what I'm thinking there is it should have the same signature of our communication data. So for our high is 2.5 to 3.5, and our low is 2.5 to 1.5. So let me grab my test light, some pins, and then we're gonna check our transmission control module. Okay, so our transmission control module for this GV70, it's located here. It's not the same as on the power train control module. So I'm just gonna remove this, right? So what I was talking about last time was, so our pin 16 just around here was okay, but the pin 17, even though there's no designation, it was bent towards the 16. So what I was thinking is it didn't get enough good connection for our pin 16, which is power, going to our control module. That's why we have those codes. But when I fix our pin 17, it's the same thing. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna locate our pin number. Pin 16, we're gonna check our power. Pin 16, 67, 68, and then we're gonna use our ground for our connection here. It's gonna be 71, 73, 74. So so 71 ground. I'm using a front probe terminal here. Okay, that's too thick. So I'm gonna use our ground. Pin 71. Going there. And then I'm just gonna use a test light here. It's a headlight bulb, and this already measured 5 amps. Right, so I'm gonna connect it here. I see that. And then the other side of the pin is we're going for 16. So will be S15, 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This 18, 17, 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 from the inside. That. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can connect this. No. The pin is too small. Let's go into the power side. And this guy, I'm just gonna touch it. So I'm front probing it. Alright, so let me do ignition on. As you can see that, oops, so I'm gonna wiggle the wires. Our 5 amp lights up brightly. That's for our pin 16. Now we're gonna go for pin 67 and 68. So pin 67 and 68. So that's gonna be the 2 bottom power here. So 67, bright slightly. 68. So now I'm just gonna move our ground. So because we're just testing the one ground side, or the one terminal for the ground. So now I'm just gonna move this. That's gonna be 7374. That's gonna be the top one here. That's a good ground. That's a good ground. So we check our power and ground already, which is good. Now I'm gonna open this one so we can access our CAN network, and then I'm gonna set up our scope, and so that we can see what's going on this communication. Why is it not getting us a communication for our module? So let me set that up and let's see. Alright guys, so I got our CAN lines there. As you can see there, it's what do you call that? Spiral between each line. So meaning that's a CAN line connected. This is the CCP line. White is the high, orange is the low. This one I just back drove it. This is the PCAN for power constraint module. Orange is the high and green is the low. So we just set up our scope, and then I'm gonna try to ignition on first, and let's see what we have on our scope capture. Okay, so we got our scope capture right now. Let me put this on 10 milliseconds. Okay. My green trace looks like it's not connected. Let me just fix this properly. Okay, so as you see on our green trace, let me just stop this. Let me turn this off. Then our CCP, the blue trace and the red trace, that's our CCP. On our green, as you can see there, it looks like that's a powertrain. It's not as the same as on our low side. So it's 2.5, and this guy, let's see what's the voltage on this CAN low or PCAN. That's 2.5, so something is going on here on our see that our green is not the signature that we want. It should be the same as on our yellow. That's the powertrain. So as you can see there, looks like there's no communication there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to plug this in our module and see what we have to. So let me just save this. Okay, so now I'm gonna plug this connector back in. Let's see what we have there. Okay, that's on. As you can see in our scope capture. Okay, so let me turn off that vehicle. So as we can see on our scope capture, our blue and red, it looks like it's still normal as far as I can tell. Yeah, got some data packets there. There's 3.5, 2 volts or 2.5. Our red will be from 2.2 to 1.3, almost there, right? 1.5. Okay, but our concern will be our pecan. As you can see here, our green looks like there's some corrupt data in there, and if I'm gonna move my cursor, there you go, so you can clearly see there. Let me move this guy here. So it started on, it's 2.5 until 5 volts, right? And if I'm gonna zoom in more, and we can see clearly that there's not a data packet. There's something going on there. So what's the next step for this? We know our CCP CAN data looks normal, so we're gonna focus on our pecan, and then I'm gonna look for another module and compare between two. But we clearly see that even on unplug scenario on our what do you call that, our connector for our TCM, our high pecan, it's not normal, right? So let me look for another testing point for our pecan, and we'll see from there. So my next testing point, this is our TCM. As you can see, my mouse is the ECM, right? We know we don't have problem with our ECM, and we got this joint connector. This is on top of the valve cover, this area here. I remember my advisor told me I have the same car with this. I went straight to the joint connector and just clean it, right? But we went here, we're gonna go to our EC11. That's more accessible. It's in the fuse box. We're gonna monitor that CAN high and CAN low for pecan, and let's see what's going on. And if we know that our high and low is good signal there compared to our TCM area, we're gonna go to our joint connector. Okay, so I'm just gonna put ignition on. Okay, so this is my ignition on right now. Let me stop that. Play again. And then we're gonna stop this. We'll see what's going on here. Looks like our blue trace is shorted to ground. Alright. Pulled to the ground. Our blue trace. Our red. Let's go more. Yeah, that's not good. So let's say if I'm gonna unplug it, let's see. Unplug our connector. Okay, so if I'm unplugging it, this is what we get. Our data looks like it's more cleaner now, right? It's the same because this is now on our EC11. This is our transmission side. But we still have this issue here. I think we got some issue there. Same thing on EC11, right? Yeah, they're all mirroring each other. Okay, so before I'm gonna go crazy on it, I'm gonna go to the joint connector and inspect that, because they told me when they got this car, after they power shampoo the hood and start delivering the vehicle to the customer, it starts going wonky on the cluster. So let's check that connector. Okay, so this is our joint connector for that communication line. I'm just gonna cut this tape here. And then I'll try to remove this guy. Can I remove that? Okay, so we're just gonna do some visual inspection before we unplug things. It looks like the back one doesn't have anything. I don't see any clear stuff. But now, if we're gonna open this guy, how do you open this? Okay. Alright. It's not okay. There you go. So my pins here, just okay. I can see some like a green spot there, but not bad. How about this guy here? I don't see anything from here, but on this side here, especially this part here. Oops, it's too bright. Okay, it's too bright, guys. This part here, I think that's gonna be 1, 2, 3 pins from the right bottom. I can see some, I don't know what's going on there, like a white mark, something like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some Stabilan 22A there. It's like a contact enhancer. And we're gonna plug this in, right? And let's see our data again on what's going on there. So I just finished applying some contact enhancer there. I'm gonna plug this in. Let's reverse. Now I'm gonna turn on our scope and turn on the vehicle. So let me just zoom out to this one. Let's still unplug. Okay, I'm gonna plug it in, our connector for TCM. I'm gonna put it in play. Okay, looks like it's cleaner now. Alright, that's on an unplug side. Now I'm gonna do an ignition on. Okay, so this one is much way better now on our signals. I'm just gonna stop this. So the blue one, that's on our fuse box area. The green and yellow still on the ECM or the TCM connector. Yeah. So it looks like our data packets now is way better than before, right? I still don't understand this. Let me zoom out, but it's way better than the previous capture that we had. Was going all the way at 5 volts. Let's measure this guy here. What's the measurement on this green trace? That's 3.6. So yeah, and then the yellow one, lowest will be 1.4, so that's what I'm expecting. But these data packets here, where my mouse is, I still don't know what's going on there. So let's go inside the car, let's scan it, because last time we cannot communicate with the TCM, and let's see what we have there. Alright guys, as you can see there, no warning light, ignition is on, right? So let's grab our scan tool. I'm gonna do a full system scan now. I'm gonna expect that all the active codes that we had, plus without the communication on our transmission control module, we should be able to go into the transmission control module, and most of our codes will be going to the history side. So I'm gonna get it, let it through, right? And let's wait what's the result. And let's wait for this engine and transmission side, because last time it's a hard fault that the transmission side didn't do anything at all, right? So no DTC there, which is good. Last time it was active. Now we can communicate to our transmission. It says good. So let me finish all this scanning. It has 47 modules, and then let's see. Alright guys, so our scan, full system scan is done. We don't have current DTC, and all our codes went to history, so meaning that CAN network is satisfied now and is reading to the TCM, so which is good sign. Question is, why did we end up checking that joint connector? Because one is, I forgot that I had a case like this, that I just went straight to the joint connector without testing, and it fixed the problem, but still I didn't understand what happened in there. But in this vehicle we understand that that's why there's no communication, because we saw on our data the CAN network going to the transmission control module is all wonky. It's not the right data packets, right? So that's why there's no communication. And second is, it will make sense because after they detail this vehicle, of course they wash or power wash whatever in that engine bay, it gets all wonky and got all these warning lights. That's why I don't really advise, even though you love your car or anything, that you detail the engine bay, because you know that engine will get dirty. So my suggestion there is always wipe it. So that's what I'm gonna tell now to our advisor when they have these new cars, when they deliver this or when they do their detailing job, not do that anymore, not to power wash or whatever they do on the engine bay, because that can cause some stuff, right? Other than that, at least we know that our transmission control module is working fine. We did follow our steps before we're trying to condemn the transmission control module, because even though we saw on our scan tool that it won't communicate and on the transmission control module and we cannot go into the module, we verified that we got good power going in and ground going to that connector to supply the module. And next is we double check our communication lines, and we found out that there was some weird data packets there, and that's why we end up went to that joint connector. So I hope you guys enjoyed that diagnosis on this GV70. At least for now, if you have these vehicles and you did power wash your engine bay, I would suggest to check that joint connector, because they're just sitting on top of that valve cover or on the engine side, right? So water can get in there and cause problems. So yeah, let me know what you think, and if you have some suggestions, let me know too. And that's it. Thank you for watching.